I'm David Fetter, Executive Editor Technical for the Prepared Foods Network, welcoming you to another Prepared Foods video podcast. Today, we're with longtime regular contributor Kerry Hughes, principal for Ethnofarm. She's an ethnobotanist, herbalist, and author, specializing in global natural product development and education, innovative product formulation, and nexus of market opportunity identification. Today, Kerry's going to share with us what she discovered at the Newtopia 2024 conference and expo. Welcome back, Kerry.
Hi, David. Thank you for having me back.
Always a pleasure. Listen, thanks for covering the show for us this year. Let's jump right in. Tell us the highlights that you experienced there.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just had to say that I was really excited to go to this show because they really, it was hard to know what I was going to expect when I got there.
What are some of the more insightful presentations that you sat in on?
So the show, first of all, was a little bit of a different format. So they had it organized into what they called neighborhoods. And so there was 4 neighborhoods of products. So these are really just groupings of products. It was Thrive, Glow, Regenerate, and Represent. So there's kind of like the Thrive, I think, was more of the health conscious kind of products or health forward, kind of products. Glow is more, personal care kind of products. Regenerate was kind of more eco stuff. And the Represent was kind of more DEI aspects. And each one of those neighborhoods had a stage that was representing that neighborhood, and so they had things going on all day long in each of those neighborhoods, which was nice to see.
What specific presentations did you go to that really stood out?
The one that really stands out is there was one on the TikTok shop. And it was obviously very popular for these days because that's obviously an area that the industry is very interested in, and it's influencing the natural products industry as far as this is an area where people get interested in new products and they're getting influenced by what they see as far as content out there. And so TikTok has a shop experience where, well, basically they explained how it all works. And if you were a brand and you wanted to, get seen on TikTok or, sell on TikTok or have influencers in TikToks or affiliates in TikTok, wow, then they explain how all that worked. And some of it's very new.
Any interesting ingredients make an appearance at the show?
Yeah, so actually there was a really lot of new products. And that was something that I was really impressed by. I've been going to Expo West. I haven't been to an Expo East for a little while, but I've been going to Expo West and supply side and industry trade shows for decades, honestly. And I saw more concentration of new products at this show than any of the shows I've seen in recent years.
Well, then let's do that. Let's go over some products and then some ingredients that stood out in some of these products.
Yes.
Just tell me what you found particularly trend-setting, interesting, even unique. Yeah.
So first of all, I'll say that the show is really billed at being kind of a consumer products show. So for buyers of consumer products to go and look at what there is out there. But according to some of the show organizers, they said that they were surprised that about 20% of the attendees or the exhibitors were ingredients oriented. So not consumer products, not packaged products.
That's actually
so it was really a mixture of things there, or different parts of the supply chain and industry that were represented. It was a much smaller show than, the Expo West. And I don't know how big Expo East, but I think it probably was smaller than even Expo East, but just really more concentrated in the things you want to see, I think. And certainly, as you would expect, there were mushrooms everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I was, okay. So that was how Nat Expo West was. It just mushrooms figured really, just popping up like mushrooms.
Exactly. I mean, so I saw mushroom coffees, mushroom like matcha, even like mushroom teas, mushroom proteins. There was a few mushroom proteins there. and mushroom growing kits even, and even mushroom energy drinks.
Oh, wow.
So they really had quite the gamut of mushroom things going on. I was a little mushroomed out by the end of the show. There was one brand there that was kind of a cool looking energy drink called Melting Forest, and that's one thing I have to say.
Say that again. It was called what?
Melting Forest.
Melting.
And it was a mushroom energy drink with adaptogens.
Oh, okay.
And what I will say about that, and then also several of the products and people that I was walking with the show floor with, we were all commenting on really just how good the branding was. The brand, just the packaging and the labeling and the imagery was spectacular on a lot of these brands, including this Melting Forest.
What other products and what other ingredients?
So, like I said, there's a lot of really good branding. Some of them were not really they weren't new. Like there's like potato chips, let's just say, which had just amazing graphics and great branding. There's one that stood out called Savorsmiths, and they had these really kind of cool flavors, basically, and then cool graphics that went with each potato chip bag.
Oh yeah, tell us the flavors.
Well, I don't remember all the flavors, but I know there was one that was like Wagyu beef and barbecue sauce or something like that. Like just very different. Like, okay, this isn't your normal barbecue chip,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of rose flavored things at the show. I thought so. There was chocolate bars. I ran across a few rose and other things flavored chocolate, and then also ice cream, which has always been a favorite of mine. I love the Turkish rose flavored ice cream.
Yeah, and India and Iran have those are traditional rose flavored ice cream in those countries as well, and that's always been a favorite of mine.
Same.
So interesting to see that make its way into our culture, as it were.
I mean, I'd seen a couple of those products in the past, but I just thought it was interesting that in such a small show that there was a kind of a concentration of these rose flavored things. So that was nice. There was also a chocolate that was called Bon Appetit. And it was date flavored. So it was basically date sweetened, not date flavored, sorry. So the idea is replacing some of the sugar with dates and reducing the sugar content. And it was delicious.
So I saw a lot of date sweetened and mushrooms I saw, but a lot of date sweetened items at the Natural Products Expo West as well. So it looks like that is taking off. And I know also carob sweetener has started to really gain traction. These are the main sweetening component of these is still sugar, sucrose, mostly fructose, but for some reason it's a little bit more powerful, so you can cut your sucrose amount in your product significantly by trading it out for the date or the carob sweetener. And
I'm all for that. I think it's great that we put some real things in there instead of just purified sugar. Certainly the labeling changes have been the thing that has changed that practice with the sugar.
And now botanicals are your thing. So what botanicals did you see in products that...
Well, one of there was a few of them actually, but one was nice, which is a fig coffee. So they were billing it really as you could be a standalone product or something to cut the content of your coffee down. And I think, there's a worry out there that maybe with climate change, our coffee supply is kind of at risk, and definitely coffee prices have gone up. And so this is, it's just figs. It's a fig base, and I tried it alone and it tasted a lot like coffee actually.
Really?
And certainly for people who, can't drink coffee and can't drink caffeine, this could be a good alternative. There's been a few of those type of products in the past that are more blends of chicory and other things,
Right.
which I also think are really good products. But I thought this was interesting that it was just fig alone, and then and that they were also billing it as being a way to cut down, like you blend it with your coffee to reduce the amount of coffee you drink.
Wow. No, you'll definitely have to send me some information on that. That's very curious.
Yeah, it's called it's called Fig Brew.
Fig Brew. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Fig
no,
Brew.
I'll look it up. And then any particular bioactive botanicals that caught your eye?
Well, there was one that was kind of cool. There was it was actually another beverage, and it was called Nordic Tree Water, and it was birch water. So it's really just water that's coming from a birch tree, but it wasn't like, I've had maple water in the past, which was pretty sweet. And this was not so sweet. This was just like, it tasted like water, but really clean tasting water.
I've had it's very popular in the Slavic countries, and there was a Slavic supermarket near where I used to live, and they had like full selection, like a good dozen different brands of birch water. I like you, I find it has a very clean and refreshing. It's water, but it's still very clean and refreshing. So cool, very.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There was just a couple more notable ones that I remember I jotted down. Well, certainly GLP-1 type like labeled things. So there was a GLP-1 probiotic, and other things to support people who are on GLP-1 drugs. So those things are making their way, and it's pretty obvious on the packaging as well that that's what they're doing.
So, okay.
For weight loss.
And go ahead.
There was one really old, I guess this is kind of the last one I wanted to say, there was one, this isn't a food related thing really, but one old herbal tradition that made its way onto the show floor that I hadn't really seen much in the past, and it's certainly a TikTok sensation recently, and that's castor oil packs.
Oh, wow.
And they had castor oil packs of all different kinds, and then they had castor oil, even like mascara and some personal care and stuff that they're trying to bring out there. And so again, this is where TikTok has really made an influence out there.
Oh, sure. I know, I remember my grandmother who she'd be 106 today if she was around, talking about having to have castor oil as a kid. So
yeah,
pretty interesting.
Well, I don't think they're explaining. They weren't making people take it orally like that. It was more to be a topical, but yes.
Okay. So fascinating. Kerry, thanks so much. It's always a treat to have you join us. I want to thank our audience for joining us. Yeah, you can find a wealth of topics of importance to food and beverage product developers and manufacturers, including a trove of articles, videos, and podcasts by Kerry right here. And it's all at preparedfoods.com. Again, I'm David Fetter, Executive Editor Technical for the Prepared Foods Network with Kerry Hughes of Ethnofarm. And we hope you'll join us next time. Till then.
Thank you for having me again, David.